If not us, who? And if not now, when?
The following is an EHC media production. Every switchblade needs his switch babe.
For honest, uncut, and often controversial coverage of all things wrestling, there's one place to get it, with some good old banter thrown in.
Join the Butcher and myself, two-time Knowledge Champion Mike Larkin, along with your host Dazzy Dangerously, every Friday for the Max Wrestling Podcast, with championship specials every 2 to 3 months.
WWE, New Japan, Ring of Honor, and the company with many names and more.
On Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, Podomatic, iTunes, and Stitcher.
We must now bid you adieu, goodbye, mwah, and good night. Bam!
Watching the WWE 24 coverage of WrestleMania 34 was amazing. Just brought chills to my skin and reminded me of how great it felt when I was live there in New Orleans.
Back again. Take fucking two, people. Take two. You can't. Jerry, come on. Give the Butcher a break. RWT. This is the Cutting Room. This is the comeback episode. And it wouldn't be normal for me to do this without somebody else. So, Mr. Crimmins is here. Mr. Crimmins. Sup, Mr. Crimmins? How the devil are we, sir? Hey, bro. So, this is a special, people. This is a special. Because I've got to get a few things off my chest. So, let me just fiddle with this, and then we'll get to the business. Without further ado, here is my special guest. He is none other than the former promo champion. The man. It's the man that had the show. It's my man, my brother from another mother. And it's too sweet.
Too sweet, brother. Good morning, Butcher. How you doing?
Do it. Fuck him.
Yep.
Yeah.
One middle finger, one smile. That's what you get.
That's it. We have the smiles and the fingers that run the place. Exactly.
No. Yeah, we'll we'll talk about the fingers that run the place. Again, it's not the right show for that.
That's fair.
So
Little
you
doctor
see,
of economics.
oh, I love it. That's nice.
New York
As
accent going on.
we in Britain would say, that is suave.
Suave.
Suave. So the Promomania's just been gone. WrestleMania's been and gone. And I don't feel complete in here. What's up with that?
Well, I think what may be happening is there's when you're pursuing a championship, the chase, the lead up, can and it's often amazing. It's the craziest thing. It brings out the best in people. And then the match takes place and the moment happens and one person rises up and the other person falls down into the abyss. I would be the person that fell. And then once that moment has taken place in time, then there's the aftermath. But you see, you're sat and waiting because currently there's not maybe a lot to do except for kind of enjoy your victory, but you're not the kind of guy who just sits back on his heels and waits for things to happen. So I think your brain's going, what the fuck? I should be competing or something should be happening. But the reality is your greatest foe, your number one competition has been effectively retired.
Put out of business.
Yeah, out of business. Everything must go. so maybe the brain's going.
It feels like the victory was too sweet. You know what I mean? I said I was going to do, and I did it. But I don't feel like I retired you. You retired you. And that leaves me a little incomplete. I'm like, well, I would have sooner retired him, but he potentially retired himself.
Yeah, well, the thing about the build to Promomania was like everything was getting real personal, and everything was it was heating up, it was getting crazy, and I thought to myself, all great matches, all great rivalries that take place, there's always something on the line. And think about what people say is arguably probably the second greatest promo for a match was that whole like John Cena Randy Orton thing. Mm-hmm. And in their final epic battle, it was I think an Iron Man match or something like that. And the stipulation was if John Cena loses, he leaves Raw. That's the way you got to go. The Triple H fought Batista at WrestleMania with his career on the line. Shawn Michaels fought The Undertaker at WrestleMania 26, which I was also there for, his career on the line. Ric Flair went on a whole retirement tour where any match could have been the one that ended his career, and ultimately a Sweet Chin Music took him down at WrestleMania down in Florida. So, what I'm getting at is, aside from the personal battle and the words and everything that was exchanged, there has to be something that can be lost besides just the strap. There's got to be something bigger happening. And that bigger for you and me was, if I lose, I'm effectively retired from competing in promo competitions. And if you lose, you and all your cult members get the fuck out of the group.
Get the fuck out. You know what I mean? I felt quite felt quite strongly about that stipulation, because I was like, they really haven't done anything wrong. It's me. So when all these people get removed from a group that they dearly love, I've got to turn around to them and go,
a little bit of pressure on the shoulders there, right, to succeed.
I've got to carry a cult on my back.
The cult of butcher.
Or get strung up on an upside down cross or something.
Right.
So you see, this for me is a big thing. And I don't like it. I don't like it because I feel that what I created was something where you couldn't go anywhere. You had to be the man and prove that what everyone else before you hasn't proved, that they've got a set of balls.
Right.
You know? And I feel I don't like the stipulation. I don't feel it's right that you should. To be honest, I'm going to cut to the fucking chase. I don't like the idea of defending and competing against a bunch of people that, quite frankly, don't fucking deserve to be anywhere near me. You know? Quite frankly, I think that'd be true. The only person other than yourself that holds a victory over me is Moni Lynn.
That's true. That's true.
Okay? Now, this isn't me going to say, oh, but that my vote decided it.
I was going to say, you got to give that woman some credit finally?
Because 1% doesn't necessarily mean one vote.
Right.
1% can be 2 votes, 4 votes, it doesn't matter, right? She beat me. However, I will say Moni Lynn is one of the most. She's gorgeous.
She is.
If you ain't voting for that ass on camera, there's something wrong with you. That's why I voted. I want to see more Moni Lynn.
Moni Lynn.
Look, beautiful woman, lovely woman. She's a lovely woman.
Right.
So much time for Moni. But contrary to belief, all this voting's been going on. And all these people have been, it's like applying for a job at Walmart or, a supermarket job or any job. Fill in, you're not even applying to be accepted. You're just putting in your name. And that's it, you're in the tournament. There's no, let's look at this guy's background. Let's see if he or she can cut it with the butcher. Let's just put them in there. It's like chucking lambs to the slaughter. I will eat every fucking one of you up. It makes no difference, right? There's a guy in the group, the Walker. I made you. Your name. I remember the conversation. You said you needed a name. Amir, did I give him a name?
Yeah, you did. Here's the thing, all right? Now I'm talking as a man who's unbiased. Don't get me wrong. I'm on the line right now with my best bud in the world. Also, I sat there and made a comment that the Walker is going to take the whole thing, because in spite of the fact that the butcher named the Walker, I don't think that you can. It would be a mistake for you to ride off everybody. No, don't get me wrong. I know who you are. I've faced you. I've felt the sting of that punch on this chin. I know what that feels like. But I also know you never know. There's always that little bit of chance that somebody. We don't know what the Walker could do. We know what the butcher could do, but we've never seen what the Walker could do.
I made him.
Okay.
I'll break him.
All right.
I made him, I'll break him. However, you can't do anything without me. Okay? You can't do anything without me. I did a little talking to the little girl here. She went, who am I?
The butcher.
So, did you hear that? Introduce me. The
Butcher.
See?
The butcher. Wait, it's so funny.
She knows.
You're going on and on a couple minutes ago, and she sat behind you, but you're not looking at the screen. You're like, your eyes are up in the air because you're trying to formulate a thought.
Me.
She's behind you, and I'm waving at her, and she's waving back at me, and you didn't even see it.
No, see. She's trying to steal my light. Yeah, he's trying to steal my spotlight. You're the only person I'll let do it. Yeah, so
Guys, go
shh. My camera. Shh. Shh. Right, so I'm not letting your stipulation lie. If there's going to be a king or a queen, then there has to be a definitive winner. Someone that is good enough. Someone that wants it enough. I respect you more than any person in this tournament. Anyone. And I can't have a king or a queen without having the former champion. Now, whether Dazzy Lee fucking likes it or not, he's got a problem on his hands now.
He does.
He either goes with the 8 he's got, he either gets rid of one or I get rid of one. And he puts you in. He either starts it with 9 or he makes it even Stevens and he goes with 10.
I think that's the best option. Like, let's hang on now. Let's not eliminate anybody.
I'm putting you in it. Dazzy Lee ain't, I am. And like Mark Dallas says at ICW, I run the fucking show. Not Dazzy Lee. I do.
I think you're saying his last name wrong.
Oh, Leah.
Yeah, get it right, Mr. Gillum.
Love is that you love. But yeah, no, it's got to be right. It has to be right that you're in it. It can't go without you being in it. You know, it really can't. No. Because let's be honest. If I'd have left that, if you'd have kicked me and everyone else from RWT, it wouldn't have been long until you put us in it again. Because the place just wouldn't have seemed right.
In the words of Eminem, it would be so empty without me.
Exactly.
Let's talk about Promomania, man. You and I, we competed. We went at each other, and the people, the RWT family members in the group, I think were thoroughly invested in the story, but the lines got blurred, right? So there was people who were very unclear about what was happening and the authenticity. And I don't know about you, but I was getting messages left and right going like, yo, what's up with you and the Butcher? Are you like, why are you guys treating each other like this?
I think I had like 2 messages throughout the whole thing, because I don't think people know how to take me. You know, which is why I say to you, there is no gimmick with the Butcher. I can say 1,000 things, and I can guarantee you will never ever be able to tell whether I'm telling the truth. Hence why I said, from a famous film, I always tell the truth even when I lie.
My favorite part about what you just said, it really triggers a memory. You go, oh, I could say 1,000 things. I'm the guy who accused you of running out of material. Remember that?
Exactly.
This guy's out of material.
Daniel Crimmins just said, Butcher versus RWT Kingpin, the final chapter. It needs to happen. It will happen. It will happen. Do you know why? Because he's the only man with any balls, and he's good enough.
See, here's the problem.
He wants it now. Look at that face. He wants it now. He wants it now. He's been a maniac. He's tasted it.
Fought on the grandest stage. Yeah,
exactly.
Fighting on there's a lot of pressure that comes with competing.
Jesus Christ. Let's see who's at the door. We'll go for a walk. See you later.
How's this for a special guest? This is live TV, ladies and gentlemen.
This is live TV, ladies and gentlemen. This is trying to do a world-class podcast here. Oh, he's gone. See, that's how you do it. You make a noise and they retreat. Right, so where were we?
So essentially, I'm just saying, when you compete at Promomania, it's exactly like WrestleMania. There's a nervousness about it. The part where, like, we did all these videos, back to back, day after day. You addressing me and some others on Mac's podcast, me addressing you and some others on Retro Rewind. I mean, everywhere anybody turned, Promomania was in their face. The build was incredible. But then there comes the Promomania episode where you and I have to, now it's time to put up or shut up. This is the final battle. People are going to vote on this. And this isn't some version of, like, I mean, this is like legitimately up to the people. Like, there's no influence that I have or you have on it. And so it really was a little bit of a pressure cooker because, first of all, the build was so incredible that there's pressure to make the actual show deliver, right? Deliver on the build, like this is going to be the greatest thing that's ever happened. So that's difficult. And it was a tough, like, well, first of all, let's talk about, now I'm going to go in interview mode, because in the build to Promomania, really, you spawned a couple of other beefs, and I did the same thing along the way. It wasn't like we were just battling each other. We were also battling each other's respective supporters. And so the one person that you were really battling was Moses Marquez. What's up with you and Moses Marquez?
Lies. Honesty. Being who you say you are. That's me to a T. I say I am what I say I am. I am who I am. I be nothing else. You know, I say to Mr. Moses Marquez, you who you say you are. And that's exactly what I said. You know, I never changed a thing. I asked Moses to tell me who he is and to answer the question which I asked him. Very evasive. He's an evasive guy. You know, it was like Maverick against Iceman in the sky. He didn't want none of this. You know, he didn't want none of this. No, that's exactly what it was. Honesty. There was a few things said which, I'll be honest with you, I didn't like. I didn't appreciate them. I didn't like the attack on Robert Davis. I didn't like the fact that it's naked about a thing which was honestly an important thing to yourself. And it was an important thing to Robert. And I'm of the opinion, you know, to question a man's integrity about, you know, who he selects to partner him on his journey, you know, no one's, you know, the only people that were basically present in all that, you know, all that obviously build up to obviously your radio show was your brother, right or wrong?
That's right.
Your brother, and then Robert Davis came on board. So for me, when I heard obviously the Moses and Mr. Brian Green were butthurt about, you know, that they were your partners in crime, or, you know, I was like, dude, if only you knew that the guy that had been in RWT for 5 seconds was told, if you lived next to me, you'd be on the radio show. But at the same time, I was like, who do you think you are? You know, this is a man's dream. This is what a man's working towards, is his psychology. You know what I mean? He's working towards this masters. And this is what his radio show was going to be about. Robert Davis was going to do the wrestling side of it. You were obviously going to do, other stuff, you know, to take your psychology and that to another level. You know, speak to people online that have got problems and things like that. And I just didn't like the snigger. I didn't like it. I didn't appreciate it, you know. I'll let people in on a secret. A lot of what I did was it was all put on. It was all put on. You know, it's like when Mia said to me, "You'll run out of content." Well, I will never run out of content. I will never run out of content. What I do is wind the world up. I wake up in the morning with the biggest smile on my face, and I go, who can I piss off today?
Yeah, you do.
And that's it. You know, that's it. That's the way I work. Content is given to me 24/7 because I can wind the world up. But at the same time, not all of it is put on. I do take, you know what I mean? I'm of the opinion, when you back someone into a corner, they will always tell the truth. They will always tell the truth. Frustration. It tells the truth. You can't. We'll call it kayfabe. We'll call it lies. You can't play fake 24/7. You can't. I'll be honest, I hated it. I hated mentioning your name. I hated it. Because you're the only one that I've actually, you know what I mean? I don't think people actually know that we talk almost at least 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah, several times a week.
If we're not talking and we're not Skyping, we're messaging each other. You know?
Right.
People, this when I say this is my brother from another mother, it ain't just a phrase. You know? Right. And I didn't like it, I gotta be honest. I'd much rather tore into Moses Marquez 24/7. You know? And that's what I started doing. And that's what I started doing.
You forgot you were competing against me.
Exactly. And that's exactly why I did it, for a reason. You know? That's exactly what I was doing. Was, at the end of the day, I thought, right, well, if they want to, if I've got a cult and he's got Mr. Morales and, you know, who's going to put his foot up my ass. No, you really won't. You know, Mr. Morales and Mr. Marquez, well, that's what me and Mr. Davis will do. We'll take down the army, which leaves the general vulnerable. So that's what we did, a perfect game of chess. I frustrated your left-hand man. Your right-hand man never came at me, the Undertaker of RWT. He never came at me. I believe Mr. Morales is a good guy. I believe Mr. Morales doesn't get personal. And I don't want a bear hug off that man. I don't want a chokehold. I've seen what chokeholds do. You know?
Did you see that? Did you see that story? Did you see that story in RWT News?
Yeah. I'd be seeking lawyers for that, you know. Yeah, but you know, I got under Mr. Marquez's skin. I know I did.
You know what? I think you did too. Now here's the thing. I can't remember. if Moses is in the King of the Mic tournament. But if he
Yes,
is,
he is.
you gotta. Okay, so Moses is in. So I think you got under Moses' skin too. In fact, I feel that to be pure fact because I talk to Moses every day. I talk to Moses. I talk to Paul Morales every day, and these are my guys. Retro Rewind, and I know you got under
Speak of the
Moses'
devil, and he
skin.
shall enter the kitchen.
Correct. Now here's the thing, with the King of the Mic tournament happening and Moses Marquez officially in the tournament, you and him, you guys got this bad blood between you guys. You got to know Moses Marquez is coming for the butcher.
Come for David Gillum. Makes no odds. Makes no odds.
Yeah, I mean, we saw what can go on between you guys in the build to Promomania, and you weren't even facing him. So
we have chemistry.
Yeah, and it's gonna be. Should Moses Marquez set everybody else down in the tournament, and at some point it's coming down to you and him, especially for that promo championship. Oh, brother. Oh, Undertaker. Yes. Right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Hey.
How about me and Robert Davis? Robert Davis, it's the stat man, old crazy eyes himself, cuts a promo one day saying that I had no chance. Now, here's the thing. I know I lost, but somewhere somebody had to believe I had at least some chance. But when you say I have no chance, what is this, a Vince McMahon entrance theme? No.
We won't even talk about Vince McMahon.
Okay, hey, Robert, there's Kirkendall. Robert Davis.
Tony Kirkendall's just said, "You're lucky I wasn't in the promo challenge." You were, Tony. You were cutting promos off the end of your bed.
So I'm wondering, Robert Davis joined the cult of the Butcher. Now, here's the thing. I believe Robert Davis is in the King of the Mic tournament, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What if Robert Davis, runs through everybody? Because the reality is, it came down to me and Robert Davis, and I think I beat him, but I don't know that I beat him by much. And so if he got that far before, he can get that far again. What are you gonna do when a member of your cult is coming for your championship?
Cult of Butcher's open. It's all Cult of Butcher is all about belief. It's all about there's no sides. You're free. You're free to do what you want. If Robert Davis wants to come for a strap, I'll give him. I'll let him compete for the strap, and then I'll give him the strap. Because at the end of the day, you've still got to bow at my feet.
You sound like a strong cult leader right now.
There you go, sir. No. Do you know what? There's two people in this that I actually fear. Right? Other than yourself. And that is Mr. Davis. And the other one is actually Teddy P. Because I know that Mr. De Niro, see, a lot of people probably think from the first Promomania, first promo challenge, that me and Mr. De Niro don't get on. Me and Mr. De Niro talk every week. I'm always catching up with Teddy to find out how the family is and how his father's doing. This guy right now he's got material. He's a musician. He's an artist. Like you did with your track against me. Fuck the Butcher. I was like,
fuck Butcher.
Exactly. I've never had anyone sing to me, but to create a song about me, I was like, oh my god.
What'd you think about that? that got you live on video. What'd you think about that song?
I loved it. I liked it. I liked it. I liked the lyrics. I just thought it was brilliant. And then when you go and say to me, you got people, yeah, we were talking all the way through this build, and I'm talking to Amir, and Amir's like, I ain't wearing nothing. I was driving home from thingy, and I'm like, well, shit would have took me a year.
I was telling you, after I wrote the song, I recorded it, and then you and I, and like you said, through the entire build, you and I are obviously talking all the time, still laughing at, people that are really, not laughing at people, but laughing at the part where we've got people legitimately interested and people thinking that we're really going at each other. But yeah, I said to you, I wrote that promo in my car driving home from, that song in my car driving home from work. Like I think I wrote that song in, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes. It didn't really take very long at all. And it's not the part that it's not like it's not the greatest song on earth, but I will say this: if you didn't know that the Kingpin had a little bit of rhyming skills, it was the perfect beat, the villain's theme song, because it's wrestling related, and it's the part where I can tell a story that makes sense, it's relevant, and every bit of it rhymes. Like it just, how could you not like that? That song, if I must say so myself, I thought that song was pretty dope. I still listen to it all the time because, not because I'm a narcissist, just because I happen to think that it's a super cool beat and I enjoyed the lyrics in the build. But yeah, just to be clear, Butcher, you are one of my very best friends, and that's what made it so difficult to compete against you, man.
Okay.
Because when you're competing against your best bud, there's some like, I want to say this, or I want to do that, but it doesn't feel right, and what if lines get crossed or too far, blah, blah, blah. When I started bringing up the fact that my kids call you Uncle Butcher, and that's where the line got crossed.
I'm like, this motherfucker's playing a different game. That is like reaching down into my loins and going, oh, just pulling. I'm like, oh.
I'll use the kids against them, just like a divorce.
Kids, man. But don't use the kids. Don't use the kids. No, it's just, it's it was a tough one. I do think it was a tough one, especially when you took it to that level. Oh, wow. Stay focused on Moses, Dave. Stay focused on Moses.
Stay focused on Moses.
Stay focused on Moses. Moses has done you a favor. It's not that you've run out of content. You just can't continue to keep swiping and sniping at Amir. Go for Moses. Go for Moses. Go for Morales.
Meanwhile, I was going at Robert Davis, and I was going at that one of the last promos I cut against Daniel Crimmins. It was so funny because and Moses Marquez and Paul Morales and Moni Lynn will tell you, because Moni Lynn she's been featuring in a lot of our shows lately, Retro Rewind, and filling in for me, and she's been a part of our little message group where we plan the shows and stuff like that. So they knew when I cut that promo that I was legit drunk, because my wife had been.
You were legit drunk.
Yeah, my wife's been feeding me vodka for 4 or 5 hours, sitting out by the pool. We bought the kids one of those blow up pools, and we were sitting in the backyard. And I waited till I was feeling real good, brother. I mean, it'd been weeks and weeks of the build to Promomania and school. I've been working 7 days a week, and I waited till I was about, three sheets to the wind or something like that. And I go, all right, promo time. get on Facebook Live, and I don't even remember. I said something. I don't even know what I said, but at some point I was going at Crimmins, and Crimmins is one of the people that messaged me privately and went like, "What's up with you and Butcher, man? Is this thing what's really going on with this?" But it was a lot of fun, a lot of fun, and I don't know. Someday you may see the Butcher versus Bane, mask versus mask. Again, ironically, mask versus mask, and no mask came out of either one of us.
This is a mask. This is a mask.
Yeah.
It depends what mask you get, whether it's the smiley mask or the straight face mask. You know? But
So, Butcher, real quick, now that we've got Promomania covered, you know, we got a couple minutes left here in the show, the Cutting Room. Thank you for all the people watching live. Moses Marquez, Tony Kirkendall,
Mr.
Daniel Crimmins.
Mr. Kirkendall, Ashley
Everybody
Gamma
is watching
in.
live. Thank you. By the way, this show
Facial
will...
hair, facial hair versus facial hair. You can get fucked.
This is the first time somebody's called this scraggly beard facial hair.
Hey,
Look at you. Oh, yeah.
This bad boy ain't going nowhere.
Oh,
this man hasn't got the balls to put his facial hair on the line. No way.
This show, The Cutting Room, will go live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. UK time, 5 a.m. West Coast time here in California. And if you missed the live show, it will be uploaded to the RWT YouTube channel as well as the Four Corners Network, right? Am I right about that?
It is. We couldn't call ourselves the Four Horsemen, but we'll call ourselves the Four Corner Network.
So with that being said, now that we've covered Promomania, what about Sasha Banks?
But you know what? I know Tony loves the bones off that woman.
Yeah, he does. Defending her. No mean tweets going to Sasha.
I've never heard anyone defend someone the way Tony did. Personally, I don't care. I don't care because I think there's a hell of a lot more girls on that roster that can replace her. And let's be honest, all she's done for the past freaking 2 or 3 years is moan and bitch about her position and status.
Do you know why WWE actually want her? Let me tell you why. She don't get me wrong, I used to be a Sasha Banks fan. What changed me on Sasha Banks was hearing how she treated her fans publicly and the part where she tried to hide her marriage because she was worried that people were saying that her husband was ugly. All that stuff to me is like, I don't like any of that stuff. But I think the reason why WWE wants to keep her around is just simply because of the merchandising, right? Because little girls are wearing pink wigs and the toys sell and the shirts sell and the glasses sell and everybody wants to be a boss and sway like she does. But it's not because they have a lack of talent. You're right. The talent pool runs deep. See, Sasha Banks, she is somebody special if she's there and then that she's surrounded by a bunch of divas, but she's not. She's surrounded by legitimate superstars now. And she's lost her place. And let's unfollow WWE on social media and let's follow AEW. Oh, that's crazy. That's insane. Man, Sasha Banks is really making waves here. It's like, dude, take your ball, go home, quit, do whatever you need to do. I hope you don't end up in AEW because I want to watch that product and not see your stupid face over there. Like, don't ruin that for me.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think she really, you know what? I'm not against people believe. Everyone should believe in their own ability.
Right.
Everyone. If you don't believe you've got something else to offer, then what's the point? But at the same time, I look at Sasha and I think, Tony just said she got shafted in every title reign. I don't believe that. I don't believe that, right? I believe when she was down in NXT and they were doing obviously the Sasha, Summer Rae and Charlotte Flair thing. I believe she looked very, very good. I believe the matches she had with Bayley was second to none. I believe matches she had with Charlotte were second to none. But if you look at that, obviously, the three people I've just said, they grew up in NXT. They grew up with Becky Lynch. Them four women were going back and two. Now she's coming up against people that she really, really hasn't, kind of worked with. And I think that actually shows just how, I'm not going to say green, but she makes a fair share of botches, and she's not as clean as people make out she is. She's very stiff. When I look at that women's division, I can name 10 plus that I consider to be higher caliber than Sasha is. So if Sasha Banks wants to take her ball and go somewhere else, then let her. I read today Luke Harper wants exactly the same thing. Luke Harper's
They'll let him
go.
They'll let him go because there's no. I'm a fan of Luke Harper. Don't get me wrong, but people aren't lining up by the troves to buy a dirty wife beater, dirty tank top.
You see, I'm more of a fan of Brody Lee than I am Luke Harper.
Doesn't Brody Lee look like Aleister Black though? I mean, I'm sorry.
No, Brody Lee.
I'm thinking of the other Brody.
Brody Lee was actually Luke Harper on the Indies. That was his name he used in CZW.
I was thinking of what's that other guy's name? King Brody or something like that.
Yeah, ROH with that PCO.
He looks like Aleister Black.
Can't remember his name, but Luke Harper on the Indies was fantastic. And to be honest with you, I think we'd all agree that when you looked at SmackDown 2 years ago, I'd say, just a little over 12 months ago, you remember that match with obviously Luke Harper and Randy Orton.
Yeah.
And I think we were all like, it should be Luke Harper versus Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania.
Yes, that was the film.
I was like, wow, how can you give a little but take so much?
But Orton was owed a WrestleMania match for getting busted open the hard way at SummerSlam by Brock Lesnar. That was the deal. So Vince couldn't go back on that deal.
No. But yeah, I think that's just where I am with Sasha. I think there's the one that's really pissed me off the most is the Viking experience.
Jesus Christ. How?
Igor and Eric.
Wait, this is what I don't get. I get the part where you're trying to dumb it down, retard it even for the main audience. But it's like for us, they were the War Raiders just the day before. Like the people who can't you give us a chance? The real wrestling fans, the NXT, the wrestling purists who watch these guys
to vote on it. Yeah.
What's the part where like all of our heroes get completely switched around and demeaned because we gotta dumb it down for the masses? There's no chance that the masses would have liked War Raiders. It's bad enough that it's bad enough that they were the War Raiders. That's the thing. I had a hard time accepting that name change. And then when you take them to the Viking experience, that sounds like a gay nightclub to me. Like I don't.
You know what kind of wound me up the most?
What's that?
Was when they came out as part of that 8-man tag, and there was the red screen, and then just across it goes the Viking experience. And then all of a sudden, all I hear is Corey Graves just repeatedly calling them the Viking experience. Igor and Eric. And I'm like, oh my, what have they done? What have they done? Why? Because Vince McMahon doesn't like the word Raw. You had the Monday Night Wars, you prick.
Raw is war, isn't it? War zone, even.
Exactly. Don't give me that shit, man. Seriously.
You know what I thought? This is what I thought, Mr. Gillum. I thought, all right, look, this is what happens. Vince McMahon, somebody held a gun to his head for the entire WrestleMania show and went, no, by the way, they're not the Viking Experience.
No, they're
I don't
not
know.
NXT Toe. No, they're not.
Yeah.
They're keeping the Raiders there. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, so Vince McMahon, they got a gun to his head at WrestleMania, and somebody's going, if you don't fucking book this thing the exact right way, I'm going to shoot you. All right? So WrestleMania was beautiful. I don't know. It's the best Mania I've seen in years.
Yeah, I think so.
It was, to be there, a part of that crowd, amazing, man. Amazing. But the next night on Raw, there's no gun to his head. There is no version of, who gives a shit if you don't watch now? It's the beginning. We'll get you back by the end of the year. So, so you got everything you wanted at WrestleMania? Congratulations. But now that it's the day after WrestleMania, time to fuck some shit up.
Yeah, fuck some shit up, yeah. Do you know what? I really don't see the point in this shake-up shite. And I mean, Shane McMahon, is it just me, or would everyone just be happy that Shane McMahon just walked off into the sunset again?
Yeah, go behind the scenes, man.
Me.
Why does he have so much time on the screen? It's just kind of like, I don't know. Meanwhile, there's people who haven't been used. They haven't been used in centuries, you know? Everybody gets upset that this person's asking for the release and that person, and it's like, well, they're not being used. They didn't make it to WWE to just be some guy in the back. Shane should be some guy in the back. But instead, he's being prominently featured across all WWE television. It's like, dude, you've had this spot for years. You went away, you left the company for whatever reason. You came back, the fans welcomed you back with open arms and all that. That's fantastic. But like, we've seen those same moves a million times. Oh, coast to coast. And, jump off the top rope to the announcement table. Yeah, we get it, man. We get it, Shane. Have you got your girls yet?
I seen that Robert Davis seemed a bit frustrated with what's going on with 205 Live. I wouldn't be. Do you know what? I've never made it a secret. I don't enjoy the product because to me they don't back it enough. They're not serious about it. They're not serious about the innovation, the wrestling that some of the guys can do. But Trevor Lee is making his debut in the next 2 weeks. A guy called Caleb Connolly will make his debut in the next couple of weeks. Kushida apparently is going to wrestle between 205 and NXT. What's that Mexican guy that's on NXT?
Punishment Martinez?
No. I can't remember his name. Humberto or something.
Oh, yeah, Humberto. Right.
Yeah, he's obviously gone to 205 will be okay. To be honest with you, if I'm honest, I think it'll look a hell of a lot better going forward. I personally think they just need to. I would have 205 as part of SmackDown, if I'm honest. That's what I would do. I think SmackDown could carry it off.
What's up with speaking of SmackDown, just real quick, because we're coming down to the final 2 minutes of the show, so we'll end on this topic real quick, which is, okay, I get the part where every year, let's not forget what AJ Styles said about the house that he built, SmackDown. We make them, Raw takes them. I get it. What I don't get is the part where we've all been made to believe by the dirt sheets that because Fox, which now means Disney, right? So we're going to see Triple H in the next Avengers movie. So WWE essentially has got to deal with Disney or Fox, and that SmackDown's got to be this crazy, insane place. It's got to be the A show, blah, blah, blah. But then the shakeup happens, and you still see all the stars taken from SmackDown with very little return. Roman Reigns going to SmackDown reminds me exactly of that 1 year that John Cena was brought to SmackDown. It felt weird. You know, him and Triple H went over at the same time. That's Balor and Reigns. But like everybody else that made that show what it is, now you take them to Raw when supposedly the spotlight's going to be on SmackDown. How do they plan to make money like this? I don't get it.
I don't understand that. I don't know. I don't understand the fact that no sooner as he goes on to, you know, well, again, poor Elias gets shafted. Do you know what I mean? But straight away, it's about Roman and Vince. Why? Why not just have, right? If you're going to have Roman Reigns show up on SmackDown, have him show up in a way that he can completely get off the camera. Have him show up in a way that he can make an impact or make a change. Have him show up and Superman punch Kofi in the face.
There we go.
Ultimate heel. People would go nuts. In not just boo Roman Reigns because he's in the building, boo him because they've got a reason to. It's organic heat. It's organic heat. You've just crossed the line. The guy that people campaigned for weeks and weeks in advance to Mania. You know, that whole thing where people were hating on Vince. That was the only time since obviously before Mania that when all the powers that be said that you're in charge, that was the only time that I thought people wanting Kofi made a difference. If people would have said, "No, we don't want Kofi," I don't believe we'd have got Kofi Mania.
Right.
You know, so let Kofi be the man with the power.
You bring up a good point, which is this. We all know now that... So I forgot for a second that Kofi was the SmackDown champion. And when I heard that Reigns, as WWE put it, super punched Vince McMahon to let the WWE Universe know that SmackDown is his yard, my first thought was, oh God, whoever the SmackDown champion is, they're going to lose their belt to Reigns immediately. And then I just thought, crap, it's Kofi. So how long until Kofi drops the title to Reigns?
I really don't know. I think for the first... What pay-per-views are next?
Money in the Bank.
Roman Reigns. See? Roman Reigns. It's just you can't write it, can you? It's already written in stone.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't go as far as saying he possibly cashes in on the same night. Because only someone like Roman Reigns would. You know?
Yeah, brother.
I was screaming all the way through that, you know, all the way through SmackDown for Kevin Owens to turn. I really just do it, Kevin. Just stun Kofi.
Kevin Owens using the stunner. What?
Amazing. I love it.
So some more stories for another time. Listen, brother, when this ends right now, since you went live and not me, I need you to make sure you save that video. Save the video and email it to me. Because I gotta
comments. Put it down here.
I gotta get this video posted in RWT and Four Corners Network. So I need you to save it and then send me an email to podcast rwt@gmail.com. By the way, Butcher, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can't. I find you.
That's the worst plug.
You can get me on the evil Twitter. You can get me on the evil Twitter machine at TOGBHITB69.
You can find RWT.
The original best heel in the business 6'9".
RWT is on Twitter. RWT has an Instagram account now. There's RWT news about stories about everybody. I got some salacious news coming out about Tony Kirkendall
I was going to
everybody's gonna
say,
have.
when's Tony's coming? Tony's got to have some dishy stuff.
Oh man, I got news coming about everybody all the time. Thank you for joining us this morning on the Cutting Room. I look forward to see what everybody's going to do in the King or Queen of the Mic tournament. We will be here every Wednesday, 1 p.m. UK time, 5 a.m. my time here in California. And I just have one last question for you, Butcher, and that's this. What is it that happens again when people enter the cutting room? Get cut up.
And you know what else they get in here? Fuck it.
Fuck 'em, man. Have a good day, bro.
Peace out, people.